The economy grew at a much slower pace this past spring than expected, according to a new Commerce Department report out this morning. It grew at a 1.6% annual rate from April to June. So let's see how that's affecting the stock market this morning. And actually, the Dow is up this morning. It's up 128 points. The Nasdaq is up 24. As for local stocks this morning, we are seeing green arrows across the board. Alexander & Baldwin up 73 cents. Bank of Hawaii up 44 cents, and Hawaiian Electric is up 37 cents. And joining us this morning every Friday is Sumner LaCroix. He's a UH economics professor from the University of Hawaii's Economic Research Organization. Good morning, Sumner.
Good morning, Mayor.
And thank you so much for joining us. So not really good news for the U.S. Recovery in terms of the economy, right?
It's not. We knew this already. We knew that the economy was slowing, and the revision of the second quarter GDP just confirmed what we already knew. 2.4 growth. 2.4% growth, which is what we thought we had, is really low for a recovery, but still not too bad. Typically at this stage of recovery, it'd be about 4 or 5% growth. But to learn it's 1.6, again, that shows the recovery is barely underway, it's stalling, and maybe we're headed toward a double-dip recession.
Wow.
I'm not ready to say that yet, and I don't think, I certainly wouldn't predict that right now, but it raises the prospects when you see such a slow recovery. This morning, the chair of the chairman of the Federal Reserve Board, Ben Bernanke, responded to the lower GDP figure, basically by noting that the Fed still isn't out of ammunition. Okay, it's cut short-term interest rates about as low as it can. A zero rate, we're very close to zero on short-term rates. You can't go below zero. Banks have to give people something to take their money. Yeah. You can't take money away when you make deposits at the bank. And so what the Fed's focusing on now is long-term interest rates. It's going to be increasing its program of buying long-term bonds, and they're hoping that by doing so, that will reduce long-term interest rates, reduce mortgage rates, stimulate the housing market again, get the economy going. But it's a hard thing to do, much more difficult than reducing or affecting short-term rates. So I think what Ben is trying to do is not so much saying what I have is going to work. He's trying to say we're going to keep trying. Mm-hmm. We're going to keep experimenting. Don't count us out yet. There's
also a new report on consumer sentiment. What's the latest on the sentiment?
Poor. Consumer sentiment improved all through 2009 and through the early months of 2010. For the last 5 months, it's fallen. August also showed a small fall. All that this basically says is that consumers are looking at the data, and they're a little bit wary about their own finances and their own employment situation. It's not good news for a consumer-led recovery right now.
Also, there wasn't good news this week. The big story is the sales of homes, big declines in new and existing sales of U.S. homes. What's the latest on that? And will that transfer over to local homes here in Hawaii?
Well, you know, it's a large decline. To see, for example, a 25% decline nationally in the sales of existing homes, that's really huge. And that's in the face of very low interest rates. Still, people are very worried about the economy. This isn't really the time to quit your job, move to a different city, maybe try something new. People are, I think, kind of holding back and thinking twice about making major moves, such as moving to a new house.
All right.
Here in Hawaii, I don't expect to see such a large fall here in Hawaii.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of factors.
Because people were worried about that. I mean, with these big declines nationally, does that mean we're going to see it's going to trickle over here?
Well, the housing market is just very different here. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's a much tighter market. There's a much more restricted supply. And I just don't think we're going to see those huge declines. I think the low interest rates, we're going to see a lot of people jumping on the low interest rates here.
All right. Are you following the YPO game?
I am. They have been fantastic. They're just amazing.
Well, that definitely boosted our spirits. I know even the economy is kind of bad right now and not too good, right?
Well, you know, we have seen the big increase in tourism here.
Okay.
And this summer has seen huge increases over last summer when we had H1N1. That's a real positive for the Hawaii economy.
Hey, maybe the YPO boys will bring some tourists here because we definitely got some local flavor on the mainland. Sumner, thank you so much for joining us. I really appreciate it.